Hello, everybody, and welcome to the FIRST Pai Sho Podcast. I'm Dall from the Discord, and I'm here with Sambews. Hello, Sambews.
Hello, I'm also from the Discord.
Yeah, and we are setting up a podcast to talk about everything Pai Sho. Okay, so today's gonna be kind of like our intro to the podcast, right?
Bit of a pilot episode.
Pilot episode, that's right. So basically, first we should probably go over what the heck Pai Sho is, because people are always asking me what the heck is that, and I'm like, okay, so I guess I'll explain it how I usually explain it when I explain it to my friends. I'm like, okay, so you know that show Avatar: The Last Airbender, and you know how there's this board game in it. Well, it's that. Would you agree with me? That's how you would explain it?
Yeah, that's a pretty good explanation.
Yeah.
I always like to add that it isn't the rules from there, right? Because they didn't really explain any rules. So it's like a fan-made.
Yeah, that's important to know that, and like, it's interesting because they never give any set rules in the show.
Yeah.
Like what they're doing in the show isn't even consistent either. It's kind of different every time.
Thankfully, so we have multiple variants of Pai Sho, right? To make up for that lack of consistency, there's no one Pai Sho. There's tons of different variants.
And because like the fans, basically what happened was a bunch of fans saw this game Pai Sho in the show and like, oh my gosh, we should make this an actual thing, and so they came up with these rules for it. And then different fans came up with different rules. Plus, there was the inconsistency of what Pai Sho actually looked like in the show, and now we have all these different variants, and they're all unique and special and very cool.
And I think we could talk more about how Atlas represented in Pai Sho later, because I think Scud has like a document of all of the instances of Pai Sho.
Yeah, he has a whole thing about that. Maybe we could even talk to him about it on the podcast. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that'd be great.
A little overview about what we're going to be doing this podcast before we get too deep into Pai Sho itself, about the podcast. We're going to be talking about all different kinds of things. We're going to be having special guests from the Discord. We're going to talk about all these different variants we just mentioned. Yeah, what else, Sambews? What other things we're probably going to talk about here?
I mean, I think that's a pretty good summary. It's just... And this is script and improv, so it's not like we have a thing in front of us
Yeah, we don't have any kind of like an actual script that we're reading off of. We're just kind of going with it. We have some things we're going to cover, like we have bullet points of what we want to cover. So hopefully it works out. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Well, so yeah, and also people from the Discord community, if you're not in the Discord community, by the way, I'd suggest getting in there because it's an awesome place. But people in there, we're going to be going to you for suggestions for episodes as well. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. And we should probably delve right into all the different variants here.
I think we should start with Scud, right? I forget what the statistics are. I think Scud is the most popular, just in terms of number of games played.
Scud is definitely most popular, yeah. I think Scud sent out some statistics recently, and it's like Scud had like...
It was like 50 out of our games played and 300 Scud games played or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So, yes, Scud is the most popular, probably. The other ones have it all kind of, goes in and out. Especially when a new variant is created, there's a lot more hype for it.
Uh-huh.
But overall, Scud is probably the most popular out there. I'd say the objective in Scud is much different from any kind of a game you'll see out there.
Totally. I don't think I've ever seen an equivalent.
Yeah. It's a very interesting vibe that the whole game has going. And it's like, okay, for a basic overview of the objective of Scud, which is hard to explain without explaining like everything, is you have tiles, and these tiles are flowers. And apparently some tiles, when they're on the same line with each other, they make what's called a harmony between them.
Which is like a line.
Yeah, it's like a line in between the tiles, an invisible line, except for on the site it is visible.
Mm-hmm.
It makes little glowy stuff. It's fun. But the objective is to get a ring of these around the center of the board, and then you've won. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Scud feels very flowy. It's got a lot of, there's not a lot of like empty space in between. I don't know. It's probably doesn't make too much sense. But whenever I play it, it feels like everything kind of.
I would totally agree with that. It's kind of like maybe in the beginning there's a little bit of empty space because people need to get tiles onto the board, but once it gets going, it's like, I don't know. It's very flowy. It's kind of like if you've got two people who really know what they're doing with the game, then, they kind of have this little dance they do. They're like, okay, I'm doing this, and it just kind of goes with the flow like that.
I wouldn't call it fast, because games can take hours, but I would say it's fast-paced.
Yeah, it's definitely, well, here's the thing. I mean, you can spend as long as you want on your turn, but it keeps you on your toes, because it's like, every time someone does a turn, if you have two people who are very good at the game, especially, at equal levels, then every time someone does a turn, it's like, oh, wow, they have the advantage now. But then the next person does a turn, oh my gosh, now they have the advantage, and it just is, it's crazy. It keeps you on your toes for sure. So, how would you describe the overall feel of FIRST Pai Sho? Like, could it compare to other games out there?
I don't really think so. I think it's a very, very unique game. And I think if you were to compare it to other games, the most similar would be other Pai Sho games, like Adevar, which we can talk about later.
Yes. It is. Well, the only games you can really compare it to are other Pai Sho variants. And, I don't know. I remember, so just today, actually, I was playing chess with a friend, and he totally schooled me because I'm not a chess player, really. I'm more of a Pai Sho guy.
Chess is hard.
Yeah, and so he beat me pretty easily, and then I take out my Pai Sho board, and I'm like, while we're doing board games, how about this, And
did you just have a Pai Sho board in your pocket?
We planned it. We said, okay, let's go. I'm gonna go to your house. We're gonna do some board games, dude, because he's like a crazy genius when it comes to strategy stuff. So it's fun to see what he's got with that kind of thing. So I pulled out my Pai Sho board. I brought it in like a backpack. It's hard to carry those things around, by the way.
They're very big.
Yeah, and well, I had the one that like deconstructs and reconstructs and everything.
Oh, that's cool.
Even then, what are you gonna do with all those small pieces? You don't want them to get damaged anyway.
Got like a bag, yeah.
Yeah, so, but anyway, I just pulled that out, and once we started playing a game of Scud, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how different this is from anything, because I had just done chess and FIRST Pai Sho back to back, and that's what made me realize, wow, these are two very different games. So, yeah, it's a fun story for you. How about Vagabond? Have you played much Vagabond, Sambews?
I've played a little Vagabond. I think of all of the games I've played, I think maybe Vagabond and Adevar would be my I think I'd be tied in how much I played those two. So not a ton, but I've played them a little bit. I know the rules.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the same boat there. It's like, okay, I know how the tiles move and stuff like that. And the one thing I can say for anybody curious is Vagabond is probably the most similar to chess of all of our variants that we have.
Yeah, so it's got the objective. So the objective of Vagabond is to capture the opponent's king, or their white lotus. So that's similar to chess. And then it's got a similar capture strategy. Can all pieces capture? I think there's some pieces that can't capture. Most of the pieces can capture each other. Unlike Scud, which isn't very capture focused.
Yeah, Scud isn't very capture focused, which it's kind of funny. I'll often see players who I feel like are more comfortable with vagabond or chess because I'll be playing them in Scud, and they're all about the capturing. I'm like, dude, you can actually make a ring or whatever, you know. But yeah, vagabond is all about capturing. Different tiles have different movement. It's got like its own rook tile that goes up, down, side to side. But yeah, and does it have like a bishop type tile too as well? I think it has that.
I don't. Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know enough about Vagabond. I need a refresher on the rules.
It's very, and I'm kind of like regurgitating stuff I've heard Abba say. It's very, there's like two phases to it. There's like the build up and the breakdown phase, where you like build up all your pieces, because it's not like chess where all the pieces start on the board. You like choose where you play your pieces.
Right. That's probably the main difference.
You build up your pieces and you like build up and then put your pieces where you want them to be, and then after both players' white lotuses are out or their kings, pieces can start capturing, and then that's like the breakdown phase.
Yeah. And I feel like, I mean, chess, all the pieces are already on the board, but similar things kind of happen in chess, you know, where it's like,
you got like capturing wars or like trading.
It's like, oh my gosh, but if you capture this, then this will capture this. Oh, but what the heck, look at this, I have this over here. Then all of a sudden, all these tiles are all focused on capturing like one pawn, and it's like, this is useless, you know? But yeah, it's a big part of chess is the little mini Cold Wars that happen, and that happens in Vagabond too, because yeah, it's the build up and the breakdown.
And I should say neither of us really play Vagabond or chess, so sorry to any hardcore chess fans are like, no, that's not how you play chess. That's how we play chess.
So yeah, don't get on us about not knowing anything about chess. We're Pai Sho players. But I was in a chess club in middle school and high school.
Yeah, me too.
And I mostly just hung around there because that's where all the people who weren't scary were. But yeah, I also learned some chess too, maybe. But yeah. Wait, you were in chess club too, Sambews?
Yeah, I was. I've been playing chess not that great for many years.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's like, I like the game, but not really that good at it. I think we've covered Vagabond. We're going to Adevar now.
To the best of our ability. So yeah, I think we should talk about Adevar. Adevar's the most new, quote-unquote, official variant, I guess, not counting Ginseng.
Yeah, well, Ginseng isn't official yet.
Yeah, but what is official, really? This is all fan-made. Adevar is sort of the most new Pai Sho variant.
Yeah.
When did it come out? Only like, I don't know. My sense of time is not there since quarantine started. So I don't know.
I think it was like a few months ago. Okay. So yeah, Adevar came out a few months ago, and okay, so in Scud, the objective was to get a Ring of Harmony. In Vagabond, the objective was to capture a certain piece. In Adevar,
there are many objectives.
It's a very cool concept. Your objective depends on a certain tile you choose in the very beginning of the game. That tile dictates your objective throughout the rest of the game.
So the basic premise is you start off the game by picking a hidden tile, and you play that face down in a certain part of the board. And different hidden tiles have different objectives. So, like, the Echeverria wants to capture certain tiles. I can't remember the names of any of the other ones. One of the ones wants to make a certain pattern on the board. One of those ones wants to make a harmony ring, I think.
Yes, the Oriental Willy wants the different patterns on the board. And actually, if you pick the Lotus hidden tile, then you're making a ring around the center, similar to Scud. A ring of harmonies around the center. Because harmonies are also a thing, but only if you're doing that objective. That's the only way harmonies come up.
And you can and your like kind of secondary objective is to figure out which hidden tile the opponent picks, because you can try and guess by putting down a second face tile corresponding to that hidden tile and like try and capture theirs. And if you're right, you win.
And to clarify, the hidden tile is called a hidden tile because it's literally upside down on the board. And
hidden. It's a tile.
The tile itself is hidden, and only the person who chose it knows it. Ooh, rhyming. That's fun. But then if you capture that with the corresponding second face tile, you win. If you complete your own objective, you win. And that's how the game goes.
I think we talked a little about capturing words and vagabond. Capturing words are very, very frequent in Adevar, in my
definitely,
experience.
yes. I love capturing words in Adevar. And the thing with that is all tiles can capture each other except for a tile can't capture itself. And there's only 3 different tiles. So when it comes to like basic flower tile movement and what can capture what and all that, Adevar doesn't branch out that much because that's not what the main premise of the game is. But basically, it's just all about having a lot of tiles out on the board and having them in the right places, and yeah, there's strategy behind it. I'd say it's a very unique game. Very
definitely.
Different from any other games that have been created, but at the same time, taking ideas and concept from many other games. But at the same time, it's very, very unique.
Yeah. And I think those 3 that we just covered, Scud, Vagabond, and Adevar, are the most popular Pai Sho variants, and the other ones are a lot more obscure, I think.
Yeah, Scud, Vagabond, Adevar, those are very popular. Probably over 200 games played for each on the, every month?
Every month, week, day.
I don't know. Some cool statistic like that.
There's some increment of time.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, those are the ones that people play hundreds of games all the time of. Very cool games and very addicting, honestly. Let's move on to Capture Pai Sho.
Alright. I have actually played a little bit of Capture.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have played Capture a little bit, I think. And the other person I think who plays Capture a lot is Samurai Appa on the Discord server. He's like the person I play Capture a lot with. The basic premise of Capture is you have a ton of different tiles. Each one is unique. And imagine like a ring made up of all like a big circle. The tiles, like 3 tiles previous to any given tile can capture that tile, and like the next 3 tiles from that tile it can capture. That's probably not a very good explanation.
I'm having a hard time imagining that, yeah.
You've got like a circle of tiles, and tiles coming after. No,
basically,
certain tiles can capture certain tiles, and they're captured by other tiles, and
it's a game of bloodbaths. What I don't understand is, like, how does a game like that play out when it's like, it just seems like kind of basic rules. It's like, okay, so this can be captured by these and can capture these. How does that play out in unique games?
It's very luck-based, actually. So, the position of the tiles is random. So where certain tiles are is different every game, because they all start off on the board, unlike Scud, Adevar, and Vagabond. Vagabond has some tiles on the board.
So the position of the tiles, it just starts out in a complete random order.
Yeah, it's all in the same shape, but which tiles are where in that shape is different every time. So it's actually very luck-based, which is good or bad depending on the type of player you are.
Yeah. So is it possible for one to just create a game, look at it, be like, that doesn't look good, create a new one? Is that a thing?
I would assume. I'm not that great at Capture. I haven't played a ton, but I would imagine that is, you can look at a game and say, oh, this person has the advantage, just by nature of their random board position.
Of course, that would require knowing what you're doing, so I guess I wouldn't even be able to cheat that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, I feel like that's a pretty good overview of Capture. So, Street Pai Sho.
I don't know how to play this game at all.
Oh, really?
I've never learned the rules for Street.
I can probably explain it a little bit, maybe. So, basically, imagine you have a bunch of lotus tiles out on the board. You have guest lotus tiles and host lotus tiles on their respective sides of the board. And it's rotated like Scud. And
The one thing I have heard about this game is that you can win in like 2 turns.
I don't think you can win in like 2 turns.
I don't know what the thing. I heard it forever ago.
Maybe I'm just really bad at it. I don't know. I am very bad at it. But you basically have a bunch of lotus tiles on the different sides of the board, and they're in this certain formation, and each one can move like 3 spaces or something, and you want to get a ring of harmonies around the center. No, you don't want a ring of harmonies. You just want a harmony going across each midline, each vertical midline, each horizontal midline on each side, So every 4 midline thing, you want a harmony going across it. With the lotuses, and they all harmonize with each other, and they can capture each other, but once you capture one, then you can't capture anymore, but you can be captured. So, yeah, that's the deal with those. It's a very basic game. It's kind of unbalanced. The community is currently working on making it better, improving it. But the problem is they don't really know where to go with it from here. So, yeah, it's just a bunch of tiles that all move the same amount that are trying to harmonize and trying to capture. So, yeah. I think the idea is that it's like Street Pai Sho, so it's supposed to be all fast-paced and stuff. It's really basic. It's really basic rules. So yeah, that's the deal with that.
Cool. Next, there's like Solitaire, Co-op, and Overgrowth, and these are all kind of the same game.
Yeah.
And they're also it's like Scud rules. The premise is you have a set of Scud tiles, and you pull one randomly from a bag, and then you play it on the board somewhere. And if it can harmonize with another tile on the board, you have to play it there, and it is like clashes, which is like the reverse of harmonizing, which we probably should have talked a little more about. You play it like that, and you try and get the most points or something, or like the most harmonies and disharmonies.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's interesting. You could pull a bunch of tiles from a bag and see how many you can harmonize. And I never really liked this game. I don't know.
Me neither. I keep hearing people saying like this is a good way to practice like learning what harmonizes, but I feel like just playing Scud would be better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not a huge. And then co-op is that, but 2 people, and you're alternating taking turns. And then Overgrowth is like versus Solitaire, where it's like co-op, except one person is trying to form harmonies and one person is trying to form disharmonies, and whoever has the most at the end wins.
Oh, interesting.
I'm pretty sure that's how Overgrowth works, but don't quote me on that.
Okay. So yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of these.
And I have my own set of tiles. Do you have your own set of tiles, Sambews?
I have a set of poorly made Scud tiles,
okay.
I printed out the pictures and put them on discs of wood.
Oh, classic.
It's not high quality, but I do have tiles.
I remember when I sat down and did that one Sunday afternoon. But I recently got a set of tiles from Scud recently too, so that was nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Those are really well made.
Yeah, they're really cool. And it's interesting because, like, I've never tried Solitaire with them, and I feel like maybe I should. I don't really like the game that much, but I really should, because the entire concept behind it is that you're grabbing tiles from a bag, and now I actually have tiles in a bag, so that would be kind of interesting to try. But, yeah.
Should we talk about Ginseng?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, we should do a quick thing about Ginseng. I mean, I did just record like a 3.5 hour live stream about Ginseng.
Yeah, Ginseng, in short, is you're trying to get the lotus tile from a spot in the bottom to across like halfway the board.
You want a lotus tile to go from the bottom to across the midline of the board.
And then there are a bunch of different pieces that do different things, like capturing or pushing tiles or like protecting tiles. If you want to learn more,
Yeah.
it's currently in development. I think Monkey Otso is the creator of it, and there's a Discord server for its development, which I think is linked somewhere in the Pai Sho Discord.
Yeah, you could probably find it on the Discord. We should really like popularize it more, or maybe it's not really supposed to be that popular. Maybe it's just supposed to be us. I don't know.
I think it'd be great if it got really popular. I think
it would be great if it got really popular once we get it all balanced and.
I mean, Adevar was somewhat popular during playtesting. Like the more people playing it, the faster playtesting goes, right? And faster development goes.
Adevar, I wasn't actually there for that whole process, but it's such a cool game once you get to know it. So I'm guessing it was like this thing a few people did. And they'd like say, hey, come over here. And a few people come, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And then a few, hey, come over here. So like, I'm guessing it probably.
I definitely wasn't the first person to start helping Prof playtest Adevar. I think someone, I forget who it. Oh, who was it? There's somebody who I can't remember who was like playing it through like a picture thing before it was on Pai Sho Playground with Prof.
Oh man.
And then I think God also joined him pretty early, but I think I was one of the. I think I was like one of the first 5 people to start helping Prof develop Adevar. It was.
Oh, that's sweet.
It was a very long process. It took forever to playtest.
Now you're one of the first people to do Ginseng.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, yeah. I mean, in Adevar, like you say, it's a long process, but I'm just gone for like a couple months. I come back, and it's this full-blown thing now. I'm like, what? But yeah. So, it gives you hope. Ginseng...
Oh yeah, I think...
It has a lot of potential.
Ginseng, I would be shocked if it wasn't on the... like, programmed into the server before 2022.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's gotta be done before 2022.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Ginseng. I think it's a really fun game with a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay. So we've talked about what we're gonna be doing. I think that's about covers it for Pai Sho variants, and we've gone over a little bit what kind of a podcast this is gonna be. It's gonna be scripted improv, which kind of sounds like an oxymoron, but it's what it is. We have like a bullet pointed script, but then we're improvising off of it, having a Pai Sho conversation, and we're gonna have special guests. And this is interesting. We're gonna have an email for people to offer to be special guests on the show, or to email us ideas for episodes. So, yeah.
And I think this is going to go on YouTube, right? So we can have all that stuff in the description.
Yeah, we can put the email and stuff in the description. And then, one other thing we should cover. Would you like to cover the last thing, Sambews?
Sure. So we don't have, like, a logo or anything yet. And I know there are some people in the Pai Sho community who are very gifted in graphic design, like Stoats, who I think is right now posting tile design images on the server. So we're gonna hold I don't want to say contest, because that feels a little, I don't know, self-important. If anybody wants to design a logo for us, that would be awesome. And if multiple people do it, I don't know how we'd pick which one. Maybe have a vote?
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe since we are like the people in charge, we can just kind of
pick one.
Like decide.
I don't know.
Hopefully we decide on the same one, or we just kind of play rock, paper, scissors over it. I don't know. We could also put it up for a vote. That would be good too. We can have the community decide as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then also a name. Like, what's our name? Because I've been using PaiCast as filler, but I feel like that, and I think that is something the community should decide.
Yeah. So the question is, what's our name and what's our logo? And I think what we should do is we should have people email us, and they should email us logo designs,
and name designs, and then we can. So, isn't there a poll section on the Pai Sho server? Like a poll
yeah,
channel?
I think there is. What we can do is you and I can decide on our favorite things people give us, and then we can take those things and put them up for a vote
Put it
in
up
the
for the
Discord.
poll. Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay, so that'll be happening, people. Look out for that. If you are good at designing things, if you have like the coolest name for our podcast, we're open to suggestions. Because yeah, we're stuck. We don't really know what to do with those things, and we want this to be a community podcast. Because Pai Sho is a very community game.
It really is. Which I think is one of the best parts about it, is you've got people like Cannoli and Scott. I really love that Scott is active in the community.
I know. It's like I joined the Pai Sho Discord community, and I was like, oh, what the heck is this? I hope people are like cool with me or whatever, you know. And then like I ask a question when I first joined, and Scud right there answers my question. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's like the literal creator of this game. What the hey? And I'm like freaking out.
I think my second game Pai Sho was against Scud.
Really nice.
And then my third was against Tree.
Oh really?
And,
oh, that's great.
And Tree total gate controlled me.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Tree is like, I don't know. It seems like he has this whole persona on the Discord of being that guy who's always like saying funny stuff and spamming the chat and stuff like that.
My headcanon is that he's a really soft-spoken, big-worded, like, philosopher in real life.
Yeah, there's a lot of fan theories about Tree, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's even some like fan fiction novels out there about him. I don't know. But yeah, and I had always just known him as that guy on the Discord, but like I played a game against him recently, and I think he actually schooled me in it, and I'm like, oh dang, you play Pai Sho too, because like we have Pai Sho and we have a community of players, and yeah, it's really great. I feel like I would get pretty tired of Pai Sho if it wasn't for this awesome community that we have along with it. Yeah.
Totally.
All right, so I think we'll end the podcast there, or at least this episode, this pilot episode. Tell us what you guys think.
Well, that's the podcast.
Tell us if you guys want more of this, and give us those suggestions by email. And remember, Pai Sho is pretty dope.
Yeah, check it out.
Check it out. All right.
I imagine this episode will be pretty boring for anybody who already knows what Pai Sho is.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's a good one to send.